It's Stuart Tyndall, and I'm back again. And I'm here to discuss a couple things. Today I'm going to discuss the Chicago fire and the Carrington event. Now, a lot of people aren't sure about the Chicago fire and what caused it and everything. Okay. The Chicago fire, October 8th, 1871, at about 9 p.m. March 3rd through the 14th, 1871, there was a volcanic eruption. Okay. October 8th, 1871, there was a meteor seen, or maybe a fragmented comet, I don't know, seen the day of the Chicago fire. Now, a lot of people have speculated as to whether or not it did cause the fire. From what I'm finding out, it did cause the fire. And that's all I'm going to say about that. And the reason why is because of certain things that I'm finding. If you look for certain things, you're going to find certain things. If you don't want to look, you're not going to find it. Now, I'm going to go to the main one. The main one, which is the Carrington event, which is September 1st and 2nd of 1859. Okay. Now, how did that solar flare actually make it to Earth? And I'm going to explain this. There was a volcanic eruption that lasted 300 days, started on January 3rd of 1859 and lasted 300 days, pumping massive amounts of volcanic ash in the atmosphere, 363 million cubic centimeters of ash. Okay. Now, the ash does affect the atmosphere whether people want to believe it or not. Now, the Carrington event, you have to look it up to really understand what it's about. A lot of people don't know what it's about because it's basically been forgotten. If another event like that does happen, and it is likely to happen, and it has to do with the amount of volcanic ash and the amount of rocket fuel being put into the atmosphere. We're having a lot of volcanic eruptions, and people continue to launch rockets, 300,000 tons of CO2 pollution, whatever you want to call it. It just isn't good for the atmosphere, and it does affect things and change things. Now, the Carrington event was a big solar flare. But how did it get to the Earth if the mesosphere filters out harmful rays and stuff? Well, it has a lot of what I've been trying to explain to people, that the sun, when it enters the mesosphere and it's filtered, thermal electromagnetic waves go to the Earth's core, and that's what powers the Earth's core. Okay, you have to look at it like this. That mesosphere is only going to be able to hold so much power. Because you've got your power going from the thermomagnetic waves to the center of the core. Okay, which is power running to the core. Okay, well, you've got power that's being made on top of that. When those solar flares hit the mesosphere, and it's maxed out on its power, what will happen is the excess power will overflow the mesosphere and make it to Earth. And it's something that I didn't even know about, and I'm sure a lot of people out there didn't know about it and don't even really think about it unless you're going in the right direction. If you're looking in the direction, you're looking for things that actually did happen that people say can't or didn't happen, you can figure this stuff out. If there's another flare like the Carrington event, with the amount of volcanic ash and the amount of rocket fuel up there, it's going to get through. Okay, and what's going to happen is we're going to lose every satellite in the sky. There will be no internet. There will be no cell phones. Now, I know that just recently they had a problem with the power outage because of the solar flare that they just had. But that wasn't a super large one. If you get a large solar flare with everything that's going on right now, with the amount of volcanic eruptions, the rocket fuel that continues to be pumped into the atmosphere, things alter up there and they change. And the mesosphere can only handle so much energy being produced. Now, I've also looked things up, and I'm also kind of wondering if the Space Shuttle Columbia didn't encounter, because there were solar flares the day that the space shuttle came back and it blew up on re-entry. If the mesosphere was fully loaded with energy and solar flares were being injected into the mesosphere when the shuttle returned, that would make it much more hotter on its re-entry, and they wouldn't be aware of it. They wouldn't be prepared for it. But like I said, there's people out there that no, this stuff can't happen. Well, it does happen. And from my findings, it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse until somebody wants to look at it or somebody wants to do something about it. But as the sun, the reason why the sun has the solar flares is because it's power release. The sun generates a lot of power. If it's not allowed to have the solar flares, then the sun would blow up. It would produce so much power, it would just blow up. Well, the mesosphere can only handle so much. But because it's thermomagnetic waves, you wouldn't be able to see them. And like I said, it's a pretty sad situation that scientists are not looking in this direction. But that is what's happening. And if we get a massive solar flare, there's a good chance you're going to lose every satellite. Now, I'm putting my information out there, and a lot of it has to do with the sun's solar cycle. When it's at a certain part of its solar cycle, it can eject those massive solar flares that really mess things up. But like I said, it is what it is. I expect that probably within the next 10 years, we will probably lose every satellite because this is going on. It's going on. Nobody wants to address it. Everybody wants to worry about asteroids that we've never seen hit the Earth. We've seen meteors hit the Earth. We've seen space debris hit the Earth. Okay, we don't want to look at things that could be dangerous. more than an asteroid right now. And I honestly do believe that if we get a massive solar flare and that hits, it's going to knock everything out. And then everybody isn't going to have to worry about all the fighting and arguing on Earth down here, all the tariffs and the complaining and everything that's going on. People are really going to be screwed. And I'm just trying to be honest with people. And I'm going to call that good.